don't know how it's unsustainable for the city. All the homelessness and drug addicts that are coming here every night off the trains, and there's no services at night for them.
Well, they either go down to the beach and sleep, or they maraud through our neighborhoods.
Yes.
And it's way too much for us.
And so,
yes.
yeah, no, we are inundated.
Yes.
And we know that.
And it's putting a burden on the fire resources, police, and the businesses.
Well, you saw, I don't know if you know what's happening.
Hi, Sergeant.
How you doing?
Good.
Hi, how are you?
How you doing, sir?
Hi, I'm Phil Brock. Good to meet you, sir.
Sergeant Zebush. Walter. Nice to meet you.
Walter. Phil. 30% of our promenades now empty. Santa Monica Place just got foreclosed on. Wells Fargo just gave up their $300 million loan and just washed their hands of it.
REI just left.
And the new REI looks great. Yeah. I mean, I look at it and go, they're down the marina now.
Yeah.
Clean, safe, no homeless people there.
Yeah.
It's a nice outdoor center.
We were just talking to Sergeant before. When we were in our younger years, we used to hang out here on the weekends all the time.
Sure.
And now we just stay away. My kids want to come. I said, no, you're not going to Santa Monica.
And that's a sad thing, because we were so lively.
Yeah.
But I've got more stories to lead me.
Yeah, no, we've noticed a huge increase on the vacancies.
After ArcLight left
And Bloomingdale's. Well, that mall now,
Sears.
Nordstrom would like to leave. Tiffany and Louis Vuitton, which are at Centerport, they're leaving.
They're leaving, yeah.
Worse is, I was with Rick Caruso on Tuesday, Wednesday. And he was offered the mall and refused it.
He refused to, yeah.
Wow.
But you also have all these, like these new construction, new lofts, new everything in.
We have the new apartments, but we have 12% vacancies right now.
Of course.
And the rents on those new places are going for $4,000, $4,500.
Yeah.
They're not getting rent.
They're not going to,
It was ridiculous to build those.
The state mandated we build them. But
you're not
the
going to
normal
have
people in the city,
clientele.
not the rich area, but the normal people in the city are being forced out. Because landlords look at these other rents, and if they can get them out and get them past rent control, they want them out so they can raise their rents.
Yeah.
And that especially hits our diverse population. We used to have a really strong African American population, 14th to 20th in our city, and then a really strong Hispanic population, and it's all dissipated, which is part of neighborhoods. Neighborhoods are and that distills community spirit even more.
Yes.
So that hurts us in a lot of different ways.
Well, hopefully you
So
get
I'm
a good
trying.
idea of.
I've been fighting.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's not like Beverly Hills or Manhattan Beach where the city council is unified. Santa Monica, you've got 3 council members who are sort of like the board of supervisors, your bosses, and 4 of us, 4 of us sometimes who are together on public safety.
I saw some recent council meetings where it's like common sense spending on public safety, and some council members don't want to go that way.
I went.
I'm like, what's going on here?
Well, I went.
It is.
I had been very calm, and I went ballistic. I was like, I said, let's take 4% of the general fund, sequester it, and do stuff to help public safety now. That we had just had a series of incidents. We needed to reassure the public and get people boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And my city council voted, we'll study. Well, let's talk about the end of September. And I said, bullshit. You're going through the rest of summer understaffed. There's not enough security anywhere. We have private security that runs the promenade, but they leave at 10 p.m. Well, the AMC theaters, restaurants, bars are still open way past 10 p.m. And at 10:20, I've got homeless people camping out already in front of stores. They know security leaves at 10. So they come in.
And that's the thing. They know when security leaves. They know if we're around. They know where they're always observant, because what do they do all day?
Yeah.
So they know when to come around, and they know when to kind of steer clear.
And they communicate with each other.
Oh
too.
yeah,
So,
100%. We see it here all the time. The minute we attend to either a bus call or because we don't only patrol Santa Monica, but we'll go all the way to Culver City. Our unit does at least. And then sometimes we help with the bus car, which goes from here all the way to West Hollywood. So the minute we go all the way over there, we'll get a call down here that, you know, somebody doesn't want to get off. Or,
Metro hasn't given the staffing that they need to give. And for a long time, they were telling you to stay off the platforms. I'm begging you to be on the platform.
no, we do our train rides. We're here.
It all fell apart as soon as they stopped enforcing fair.
Absolutely.
We
Absolutely.
told them, don't do it.
The last Metro security chief that got fired, we were working with her, and she said, well, yeah, we'll put turnstiles in, it's gonna take us three and a half years. And I was just like, why isn't this stuff a priority? You know, and that's, to me, you can't, I know there's 100 Metro stations, but we fix freeways faster now.
Oh yeah.
So we could do it if we had the will.
Yeah.
And with me, after I went on air, on camera, everyone was saying, it's time to stop studying public safety. We don't need to study it. Look around you. And then the second thing was, I also said we needed more street-side social teams, social work teams, Salvation Army, whatever. I needed teams on the street, because there'd be a social worker and 3 ex-addicts who wouldn't take the bullshit that people dish out. And they said, well, we can study that too. And I said, I'm at the point where I said, if you think we still need to study mental health, then perhaps it's time for you to get mental health yourself. And literally, so my fellow council members may not like me as much, but that's not my job. My job is to defend residents.
Yes.
My residents in the city are scared.
Because at the end of the day, they're the victims. You know, at the end of the day, they're the
Today-
ones that are actually paying to get on this public transportation. You know, and they're doing what they need to do as law-abiding citizens. You know, and
get
it's
to
not
work,
fair
get home.
to them that, you know, crimes are committed against them, and where's the voice for those victims? Because they are the real victims, not the suspect who has drug-induced, you know, mental illness, because that's the reality
that's
of
what we
things.
have all day long. Today's big incident, we had a homeless woman who was temp DMH had put into one of our food bank motels. She wandered into Panda Express at 12:20, grabbed a 3.5-year-old girl and brought her down. And I credit my police, did their job. We got the girl back in 25 minutes.
You know what? Santa Monica PD is very helpful. Most of the time we're the only unit out here on the west end, and whenever we need any assistance or whenever they hear one of our calls, they've helped us a lot of times with any issues that we have up here. So it's good to know that we have a PD that also can back us up if we need to. Their response time is very quick. The fire department as well.
They don't have far to go.
That's true. That is true. But no, it's good to. We don't feel, that it's like we're gonna have another unit at a distance. It's like we can count on
You get
Santa
back
Monica.
up right away.
Of course.
Which is what we need to make sure.
Yes.
So today we swarmed. We had a lot of police on today, and all of them went after this woman. So they got the kid back, no harm.
Oh, that is
Arrested
very
the
scary.
woman, but DMH, she's again a repeat violator. DMH put her in one of our motels.
Is this the first place?
This is the first train,
This
yeah.
is our first train that's out of service.
So, yeah.
So what we normally do, we'll kind of walk you through it. We just tell everybody to get off. Majority of them are regulars, so they know that it's the last stop.
Right.
Let's go, guys, wake up. You guys are in Santa Monica. No sleeping on the train. Last stop, okay? Thank you.
Excuse me.
Man, you gotta get up, okay?
do these people go?
So a lot of times, they're either going to be going to the bus stop on right in front of Fifth and Colorado,
Right.
or they just straight to the pier, or just roam downtown area until the trains start up at 4 in the morning. The buses run all night, or they can get on that because they don't charge for the fare on the buses. This one is a flyer in the end. He sleeps on the trains a lot. And a lot of
That's the guy that you called me about last weekend.
Yeah, he's been in use of forces with deputies multiple times.
Really?
Yeah. And
He has his days where he listens, like today's a good day. But there's days where if they, they can go up to him and, hey, you need to get off, and he will pretend like you're not talking to him. So, I mean, it takes a lot to, hey, come on, let's go. So sometimes a change of pace is what helps with him. So that's where I'll come in. Hey, you know what? You already know we do this every day. We do this every morning because we're here day and night. So we see these guys in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, at all hours. So we kind of remind them, okay, hey, we're gonna see you tomorrow morning. You already know the drill. You already know that at midnight the
They're
train stops.
usually going to be less dramatic with you.
Yes.
you see
You'd be
familiar
surprised.
faces.
Not as much.
Not as much. Sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, we.
I usually think, I know with our fire department, we for a while tried a CRU unit, and we put 2 women on that unit because the people in stress usually would not push or attack people.
I've just had one incident where it was a use of force. He had told this person to exit. I came in, kind of reinforced it. Second base thing, my partner already told you. It actually happened right here. My partner already told you, you need to get off. You already know it's in the line.
Thank you.
Have a good night. He was already offered, just saying a lot of things back to us. We kind of kept our distance, and right as he exited, he had a crowbar with him actually. So we kind of, looked at each other. We've been working together for a while now, so we kind of know each other's body language. We kind of stepped away, gave him some space, and sure enough, the minute he came out, he just lunged at me. So it was surprising, but at the same time, like I said, we kind of already have an idea of their body language and if something might happen or not. Yeah, so luckily we were prepared for it. We responded the way we should have responded. But yeah, I mean, you just can never be
Take the crowbar away.
Yes.
Well, no, I just heard from Fabian today that he filmed an incident on Venice Beach where a guy pulled a knife on LAPD officers when they were trying to clean the tents. And at the end, they just let him walk with the knife and didn't do anything. They had to pull their guns, or they pulled their tasers and didn't use them. But I was shocked when they just let him walk with the knife.
Yeah, I can't speak for.
No,
I
I'm
can't
just, I know.
speak for another agency.
But that's surprising.
But-
Now today up here, 11 o'clock at the Santa Monica Daily Press office is directly across the street from 5th and Olympic. And so we had a guy pull up, park with no stopping zone, older buttercup colored panel van, and people started coming up. The publisher of the Daily Press is taking pictures. You can see the exchange of drugs. And here, the editor called SFPD, and then later, so they think dispatch. Dispatch is not run by the police department; it's by the Office of Emergency Services. They think there's a disconnect. But I mean, he was dead right.
Yes.
He's in a no stopping zone. He's dealing drugs. We have pictures of him giving out the drugs. And 10 minutes after he gives out the drugs, you see the girls and everything jumping around, and they're ecstatic.
Yeah.
because they just
Yeah.
got their dose.
Their dose, their
I mean,
medicine.
something has to change. I was the first Southern California mayor to endorse Prop 36. That will help. That's
Yes.
the new. They just gave it a name.
Is it the update to 47?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that 47 just screwed everything up.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes everything
Metro
worse
train service
for-
to Los Angeles
for
has
law
ended for
enforcement
tonight. Train
and
service
for
resumes at
everybody.
approximately at 4
So
a.m.
I'm supporting that.
Good.
And I was the first Southern California mayor to do it. We support the anti-shoplifting bills. That's great, but without any poison pills, mixed in. But we've got to keep doing more. I was in Kansas City National Mayors Conference 3 weeks ago, and a bunch of mayors are calling for a national initiative. In the 90s, it was hire 100,000 cops. Now we're saying hire and train 100,000 mental health professionals that would be for the streets of America.
Yeah, a lot of these.
But you gotta
a lot of
change
these
the
people,
laws.
they're just so far gone with drugs. They don't even know they need help.
Yeah. No,
Need
but
some
they
type
can't take
of-
care of themselves.
No, they need facilities where they're going to get treated, and they can't leave until they get treated.
Exactly.
Institutions.
Well, it leads to
with-
Prop 36.
Yeah.
Will say the third time you're arrested for drugs, you're done. You're going to go into forced rehab. And that's what we have to
That's
do.
what we need. That's exactly what we need,
Yeah.
because the majority of these people here, they're so used to just, a day at a time. So they don't like rules. That's one of the reasons why they don't, they never make it into rehab treatment facilities, or all these programs that they're offered, because the resources are there.
Yes.
That's the thing. The resources are there, but they don't take them because they're structured. And these people, unfortunately, structure's not their thing.
That's
do
why
not
I've
wanna
got
take
so many homeless people on our
responsibility at
streets.
all. No
I've got so many homeless people on our beaches.
Oh, we have so many
And they
people.
won't take, so 2 weeks ago, we had a horrible incident that was saved because a homeless woman dove in, and we had a guy who Gasconed and not put away. He had had at least 10 sexual offenses. 9:45 on a Monday morning, a father drops his daughter off while he goes to his construction job. She's down the beach, just west of Arizona, on the beach, and she's laying there in a bikini, just hanging out. And this guy jumps on top of her. One hand he's strangling her, the other hand he's trying to get her clothes off. This is on the beach in the morning, and she was unconscious. Homeless woman came in, threw him off of her, and he punched her in the face, bit her ear at the end, was trying to get her panties off, but he got distracted enough because she wouldn't stop. He runs down to the beach, grabs this Canadian tourist necklace. She tries to grab hold of him. He grabs hold of her, drags her into the water, and tries to drown her.
By the hair.
Yeah, lifeguard managed to see that he was just coming to work, dove in and stopped him. We got him, but this one woman who's in her 20s, not a full drug addict, but she's living out the beach because she's from upstate New York, has kids, and ran from her kids. So she doesn't want to be a mom. She was here about a year and a half ago. West Coast Care gave her a ticket, sent her back to New York. She took the ticket, and she came back. And now her idea was if she stays in Santa Monica for 5 years, homeless or on the beach, then she'll get Section 8 housing. And I understand. I commended her in City Council last week. I brought her to City Council hoping that would be a little bit of a push, sure, to do better. And she's got a GoFundMe page. We've given her like $5,000 already. But it doesn't do any good if she stays in the sand. She's been offered Sample Shell down at the corner. She said, well, they may have bed bugs. She doesn't want that. She has a dog. Another excuse. All these things that are ultimately excuses
Yeah.
for reasons not to take help. And we've got to get past that with these people because, frankly, Santa Monica, we have anywhere from 700 to 1,000 people on our streets every single night.
It's unsustainable for the city.
Yeah.
Well,
Trust me,
It's affecting the
I
businesses.
see every single person that gets arrested in your city because I'm the sergeant at airport court.
Mhm.
All come to my court,
Sure.
every single one of them,
And
including that gentleman.
Yeah.
He was medicated when he came in, so he was a little catatonic, but he didn't sound like he was catatonic on the beach.
Yeah. No, he wasn't. I mean, that's how do you stop these? And that's the problem. You get random attacks from people who are on fentanyl, on meth, on whatever they're on. How do you find a way to stop that as a society? Because it's not only LA or Oakland or San Francisco, it's also now spread back east too. This is a national problem. And you have, I met with U.S. senators and House of Representative members at the end of April. And when we're talking to them, some of them don't realize there's a problem. You know, but it's coming to their city. It's coming to their place. And we've got to change that scenario.
Well, an issue is not an issue until it hits home, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and it's, you know, we talked about it different ways. Senator Murphy, Senator Fetterman have talked about as a loneliness epidemic that people during COVID were suddenly isolated. They didn't go to work anymore. They ended up just being bored, tired. They started taking drugs, alcohol. It took over. They lost their apartments. They ended up on the street, and they're not willing. They're no longer able on their own to get help because they get into those depths, and that's a real issue.
Yes.
You know, that hotel, Hampton Inn, and this hotel, especially the Hampton Inn, always has homeless outside in the middle of the
Yeah,
Here
that's the
because you
problem.
have a bus stop.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the best solution that we have, instead of sending them go into the wilderness, into the neighborhoods, is go ride the bus. Ride the bus
Metro
all
train
night
service to
and
Los
then come
Angeles
back.
has ended for tonight.
As
Train
long as you're
service
not
resumes at
causing any
approximately
ruckus,
at 4
'cause guess
a.m.
what, they're gonna call us. So, like I said, we've been here. I've been on this unit for maybe 2.5 years now. So we've built a good rapport with a lot of these
Guy
guys.
just went number 2 over there, the security guards thing.
Did he really?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
just
that's-
poured
you see
bleach or
them-
some chemical on the
You
ground.
see them actually cleaning almost every night, every other hour, because that's what they'll do. Because they know that if we're here, they can't relieve themselves on the platform.
We catch 'em.
We've kicked so many people out. Like, hey,
They'll come off the train and just start relieving themselves on the.
as they're walking,
Yeah.
there's times.
That is a problem that I said that we need to solve in the city.
Mhm.
Because we have no open, we used to have, the pier used to be open all night. So the restrooms at the end of the pier were open. There's no restrooms open in our city.
You can't because they'll go in there, they'll hold it up.
Well,
just like the ones on Venice Beach, they go in there, lock it from the inside, and the park rangers have to come in the morning to kick everybody out.
Yeah, well, and we had that during the start of the pandemic. We put porta potties in Tonga Park. And after 2 months, I think, the porta potty company said they would not clean them anymore.
No.
They didn't want them back. They couldn't clean them. They were literally,
That bad, huh?
yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know the solution for that. I've seen the self-cleaning, restrooms, but I'm not sure they would last. They would find ways to jimmy it.
Is that the one they have at Norwalk Packs, the sub things? Yeah.
Does it work at all?
I don't know too much about it. I've seen it at the Norwalk Packs.
It does. I mean,
Yeah.
It allows you 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the doors open, the doors close again. It basically washes it down from the inside before the next person can go in. I mean, I've seen them in
That sounds
Napa.
very expensive.
I know that. And that's part of the problem is,
Yeah.
and if they keep breaking down, if they find a way to disable it, then you're really in trouble.
But surprisingly, these guys are very creative. They're very smart. They can, the way they, like, sometimes they figure things out. You're like, if you could only use that creativity to, for other things.
I've often thought of that. We should take some of these people off the street and put them in as CEOs of companies
Yes.
that are failing.
Because sometimes their creativity, you're just like, whoa, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Or, and it's
You have to be
surprising.
really resourceful to live on the street.
Very. And that's exactly what they are. They make something out of nothing. and you're like, where's that?
Why-
is it not
Yeah, why
clicking? Where it use
It's-
that to, like have a home, have
It's a lack of
something.
responsibility.
Well, and
Just they don't
they've
like
just given up. But that's what we see on our beach, where people, they don't want any rules. And you said this earlier. They don't want rules.
Yeah, the
And
rules
that's
is what.
that's the biggest impediment to their own turnaround.
Yeah.
Is if they can live on the beach and they can be happy on the beach or happy in our city without anyone hassling them, great. So we have to do a better job of, I don't want to say hassling, but we've got to do a better job of being on top of them,
Yes.
trying to continuously say it's time to get help, it's time to get services, it's not time to die in Santa Monica.
We need to make them a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, because
And-
we
and
lose.
That's the thing that
We're
is-
losing, I don't know how many you're losing, but we're losing 2 or 3 a week on our streets. That's dreadful. And it's funny because our residents who say, let's be compassionate, we're compassionate if we don't let them stay in our streets.
Yeah.
We're not
Because
compassionate if we let them die here.
We're not helping the problem. Because a lot of them say is, well, why should I go get a job? I have the beach here. In the mornings, I go to the shelter. I get food. In the wintertime,
And they get
people
their
give
mail,
me-
they can get their checks.
Oh, yeah, the first through the 5th, happiest of people. Right now they're happy. Towards the end of the month, we see that of a shift change in energy and moods.
Now, will there be anyone on this one?
All the trains coming in.
All the
You can see them as they come in. You can see who's asleep. Yeah, this is the metro, at least from here to Bergamot, very porous. And that's why Santa Monica's getting a lot of people. We'll get at least 50 to 60 a night. That's feeding in Santa Monica. Yeah. Hey, here, man.
I haven't seen it so far right now, but last summer, what I did, what we did get a lot is a lot of people that were from out of state.
Yeah.
And what they would tell us is, because you mentioned the program earlier, where they gave a ticket for her to fly back home, right? So we actually had one person, it was the early 20s. Hi, how are you? Good. So his situation at home was, thank you. First close today. Yeah, so his situation was he got into trouble at home. Mom has a boyfriend. So with him came this other person. There was a couple. And what they said is, what they did is they told us we can go to rehab, but we got kicked out of the rehab facility. So the key thing is that they send them to rehab, and they have to be there at least 6 months to a year. But they know that they're not gonna complete the program. They're gonna get kicked out eventually,
Right.
either because of drug use, curfew, or whatever issue they get into. So the kick was if they fulfill the whole program, they get a ticket back home, rehab. But they know the majority of the people are not going to complete the program. So what happens? They don't get that ticket back. So we're stuck with these people, and then they lose. Obviously, in the streets, they lose their bags, or they get their bags stolen, or
So they had no
whatever.
ID or anything
So
to
they
get
had
back.
no ID. But this guy said, my bag got stolen, and this guy he had no he had no addictions, nothing. We actually we let him stay on the platform. Like, hey, is it okay if I just stay here? Because I don't want to get into trouble over there. And right now, there's a program on Venice that's helping me get my ID, all my paperwork, so that I can get a ticket back home. So I thought that's a great program to
Yeah, we have that here too.
Yeah, to help.
Both the people concerned do it, West Coast Care does it. Salvation Army will also do it. The Salvation Army is literally half a block north
Oh,
of here.
okay.
So all three will give tickets back. What we've also though experienced is other cities in the United States who want to get rid of their problems, and they'll give them bus fares to LA because they'll say, well, you can get state aid.
Yep.
If you are have a mental issue or on drugs, you can get disability from the state. That's an extra $1,000 a month. By the time they're done, they're getting $1,700 to $1,900 a month.
Buddy just relieved herself right in front of the tourist house. One's right there.
The African American lady, yeah.
So gross.
Those are things that, you know, again, we normally walk everybody out and I mean, you can catch so quickly. There's people that,
Mickey Mouse here.
yeah,
That's a little baby
We've had
one.
a
Usually they're
lot.
about 4 or 5 times that
yeah,
size.
we have a lot.
Hey,
One I saw go across there was pretty.
We actually have Santa Monica has these really nice set of barn owls that live here in the area. They come and they sweep up
Oh,
the
yes.
rats. Really beautiful owls.
they're
Yeah.
living, a lot of times
Yeah.
they're living in Tonga Park,
Tonga
in
Park.
Yeah.
the City Hall.
Yeah, we had a white one. That,
Yes.
Yes, we've seen
So
I've seen
that
that.
one, it flew.
Metro
and
train service to Los
its
Angeles
wings
has
hit
ended for
the
tonight.
power-
Train
lines
service
here,
resumes at
and it
approximately
burned
at
its
4
wings.
a.m.
So we saw it fall, and they're never on the platform. They'll stand up here on that pole here and just watch, and then we just see them gliding and pick up whatever they pick up. But this day it was down, and you know we were finishing our last train already of the night, and the owl's trying to catch speed to fly away, and he just can't. So he falls on the tracks on that side. So we're like, you know, he starts putting his wing up, and we're just kind of like, okay, what's going on? So we get a little closer. We see that it's not like it's trying to fly, but it can't. So we usually have a metro supervisor here at night with us. And she's all like, I'm like, hey, get us a box. Get us a box. We have a Siaka that can help us out. We'll give them a call and we'll get him the help that he needs. I'm like, but I'm not touching him. You know, he's probably as big as me.
Yeah.
So sure enough, she comes and one of our metro employees comes in and brings the box, and he, you know, we go down there with him, and you know, I go on one side, he's here with the box on the other side. We get the owl inside the box, and they set him free, but we were trying to get the owl back here.
Right.
But we weren't
Make
able
sure
to.
he was on rat duty.
Yes, because I'm like, wait, what if, you know, they release him, because we actually had to take him to our Downey substation and meet with the.
Plus, he may have a bait here.
Exactly.
Wow.
So funny thing is, the next day, this beautiful brown owl comes, and it's looking at
And
us,
it's
and we're
flying,
like,
it's just making-
sorry.
Making laps around the packs.
And I'm like, sorry, we're trying to get your buddy back. You know, it sounds like a funny story, but at the time we felt bad.
Yeah.
And we're calling, and they're like, well, you know, 3 white owls came in yesterday. Is there anything in
Do
particular?
you
And
know
I'm
which
like,
was the one with the burn?
yeah, like he was burned, his wing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to call later. So it took me like 2 days to figure out where it was, and by the time I found out where it was, he had already been
They released it along the 605 freeway, along the wash.
Oh.
So it's a
Yeah.
good habitat
By the
for it.
Narrows or something?
But we were
Yeah.
trying to get it back to
Yeah.
Santa
Use
Monica.
magnetic geo, whatever, they
Yeah.
use magnetism to find where they want to go. So if he wants to come back, he'll come back.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully
Good.
he does.
Well, we need him. Now, what is the solution for people who they have nowhere else to go to the bathroom? I mean, is there, you know,
We
What
try
do
to
you do?
direct them to McDonald's, but sometimes McDonald's doesn't want them
Then,
in
you know,
there.
we're
'cause-
jeopardizing the business
Yeah.
at night as well.
that
We're trying to
McDonald's
protect.
got fined by the city and had to shorten their hours because we started having fights at that McDonald's.
Yeah. So a lot of them, we catch them relieving themselves in the bushes here. This whole driveway along
Yeah.
the side, during the day, you'll see feces all up the driveway. Yeah.
I mean, that's honestly, that's a tough question.
So we need to do something.
Because the solution would be to get these people off the street.
Right.
And unfortunately, that's a hard part too, because like you said, I think it is a lot of, we do need people, and it sounds bad to say, but not to not care, but if you do care about homelessness.
If you care, you don't want them on the streets.
Exactly.
I ran
You need
into
to
a
give them
woman.
tough love.
I
Tough
ran
love,
into a
yeah.
woman earlier tonight. Said for 2 years she'd go to our Reed Park in Santa Monica and hand out sandwiches every day. And I said, please don't ever do that again. You're encouraging them to stay in that park when they really need to get help.
Exactly.
And you're
Similar
facilitating.
to that needle program that's been going
Yeah.
on.
Oh,
It's the
Well,
worst thing.
we've had
Yeah.
people, we've had a lot of people like overdosing here, and we actually had one guy, he was so high
The guy with the ankles?
yeah.
Oh.
So we got him off the train, and he didn't want our help. He got off on his own, and he kept on yelling. And it wasn't like, oh, ouch. It was like a yell.
The pain.
So I'm like, I'm like, hey, what's going on with what's going on? Why can't, you don't want any help, but yet you're still here and you're struggling to get off the platform. What's going on? So he's all like, it's because I just got ran over the other day. And I'm like, ran over? I'm like, did you go to the hospital? Do you want us to call? And he's all like, no, I'm fine. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, because he had a string like coming out of his pant leg. And it was like dark brown, orangey blood. It looked like dry blood. But with, obviously, he's been, walking around with it. So I'm like, you know what, let's have a seat. We had another one of our partners like, hey, what's your name? Started asking questions. And turns out that he said, I think, my friend told me that I got ran over. And I'm like, you got ran over? I'm like, how did you get ran over? I'm like, how do you not know if you got ran over? He's like, I've been on fentanyl, meth, and all these drugs. He
And it
knew.
was starting to wear off, and then he starts to feel the
So
pain.
now he's starting to feel. So now, that now he's in excruciating pain, and he's kicking. So that's a double whammy for him.
Right.
So, we got paramedics. I lifted his pant leg up, and both of his ankles looked like they were, like the skin had just been scraped off of him. And I'm like, you did not get ran over. Something else happened to you, but this doesn't
Train?
happen if you get
Is it
ran over.
train?
No, it was.
It was a he now.
He didn't
inside?
know. He thought it was. He's like, maybe a car. He had no idea what happened to him. He just said that because that's what his friend told him. He's like, so I'm like, did your friend call paramedics for you or anything? He's all like, no, he just put band-aids on me and try to cure it, and I got high again. And I'm like,
Right.
well, that's the problem. I'm like, that, this is how you got hurt, because you were so high that you don't even know how you got hurt.
Yeah.
But, we haven't seen him since.
But we're getting them. And yesterday, we had a public death, and in Palisades Park, they responded, pronounced, him deceased. Officers located a syringe on the ground next to the deceased person. So he had got overdosed, high, died right in our park.
Oh, he got mad.
Sure,
at that.
dude.
Fighting.
Well, they're fighting over something down
I
there.
just don't want him to go with my pant leg.
So, and we're getting this constantly.
Oh, and this guy, funny story. So what we'd like to do is before paramedics get here, we kind of pat them down just to make sure they don't have any knives or we don't have an incident after they leave. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna pat you down, just make sure you don't have anything, any weapons on you, anything that can poke me or my partner or
Right.
the paramedic. No. So I kind of pat him down. I'm like, hey, is it okay if I go in your pocket? Yeah. A big bundle of syringes, brand new syringes. So obviously we take them away. I let him know, hey, this can't go in the ambulance with you, so we're gonna discard of it. I gave it to the paramedics. They discarded of it. But that was can you please just let me keep them? And I'm like,
He didn't care about his ankles anymore. He wanted his syringe.
he wanted his syringes, and I'm
Well,
like,
and the problem
no.
is, look at the county gives out clean syringes, but they all sit in circles and share the
Share it.
syringe.
So
They're
they can
not
last
using
longer.
each one separately. They're still sharing them. So they're still theoretically spraying Hep A, and they're still theoretically able to spread AIDS that way. And if the county really wanted to do harm reduction, In our parks in Santa Monica, they'd walk around, give Hep A shots. They would give out condoms, they'd give out Narcan, they'd give out test strips, but they would certainly not give out glass pipes, and they certainly would not give out syringes that enable someone to die in our streets. I've been working with Barbara Farrar and her staff trying to get that stopped, and the county has precedence over city rules. Our city council has now voted a couple of times to tell them to stop. And the county keeps saying, we can do what we want. We think it's helping. But when I went with them 2 weeks ago, they gave out 5 glass pipes. Nobody wanted syringes, but they took the pipes. Well, it's what we're doing. It's the same thing they're doing in San Francisco. I don't know if you know about the pilot program. They're giving people drinks.
I heard about that.
That's insane.
Bartenders, right? They're bartenders
Yeah, bartenders were walking around the streets. They gave $5 million to do this pilot program, so that if you're an alcoholic, it's not trying to get you to stop. It's facilitating your continuing to drink. You can't keep facilitating people to take drugs in our cities. You just can't.
Metro train service
some
to Los
point,
Angeles has
it's
ended for
absolutely
tonight.
ridiculous.
Train
That's
service
what stopped
resumes
some
at
people back in the
approximately
days,
at 4
the fact
a.m.
that they couldn't access it, or they couldn't,
Yeah.
you know.
And then they finally started getting the
That's what
shakes or
happens
whatever.
in jail
Well, they
for the most part.
yeah.
Because they still find a way, but it's much more difficult.
Well, that's when they did the no bail policy, whatever it was last year. One of my issues was before at least you put them in jail overnight, there was a chance that they would start to come off and you could get someone in to talk to them again before they were transported or before they were let go. Maybe it was finally time for them to get clean, and we're not doing that.
Yep.
And that to me, we put the onus on law enforcement, and you're now social workers, part-time doctors,
different hats.
everything,
Psychologists.
continuously.
Psychologists,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Psychologists.
honestly, that's not your job. And we have expanded the job so much, especially in LA County. And it's untenable. I mean, that's why all of our departments are suffering from recruitment. You know,
this whole
whereas like Beverly Hills now has their full complement of officers. Mission Viejo has their full complement of officers.
Yeah.
At some point, you guys are dealing with so much more than you're supposed to be dealing with. You're supposed to be getting bad guys, stopping crime, preventing crimes.
Not
But
cleaning up
that's not what you're doing now, and that's honestly, the public needs to understand, you know, the stretch on resources for all departments, because at some point it's not appetizing to become a police officer or a sheriff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's,
we're seeing that right now. We're 1,700 deputies short now.
that's better than you were, I think.
Throughout my 20 years, it's hovered around 1,000.
So this is really bad.
Yeah, this is really, really bad. And part of the problem is LAPD just got a 20% pay increase over the next 3 years starting in January. So we compete with them quite a bit for applicants. And they saw that they got a 20% raise, they're going to go there first.
And we're getting, you know, our police get paid well. Beverly Hills, Torrance, oh my God, I've got rat races.
So we need those
Yeah,
owls out
literally.
here.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You don't know, Fabian. I'm seeing just literally going back and forth right now. That's crazy.
This is what we see every night. And there's see it.
Yeah, no, they're.
We're doing a show for you today. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We had one transient local. She would sleep up here in the corner, and it got so bad with her, the rats were biting her at night. But we finally, she was getting actually a site to come out here and see her every day. And it was still, she was causing a ruckus out here, all the patrons coming in. But she had warrants for her arrest, and that's the only way we found, we helped her. We had to arrest her to get her off.
Well, and that's sometimes.
That's
even
last-
though,
that was
look,
last resort for her.
Exactly. I mean, nobody wants to keep arresting people. But at some point, if you don't restrict what they're doing, what happens? They stop.
Over here right now.
It usually stops there and then it continues. There's no more trains. Trains are out of service.
This one's full. Oh my God.
Gentlemen, once again, this train is out of service. Train is out of service. No more service for tonight. If you need to catch your bus, it's 720 across the street. The train is out of service. Please gather your personal belongings and exit the train.
Hey, my man. Hello. Train's out of service. You gotta get out, okay? You good?
Your front car had a reflector.
Yeah.
The party train in the front.
Yeah.
This is actually not that bad today.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
it's
two more to
refreshing.
go. So we'll see. But when we have like big events, like a soccer game or
Taylor Swift.
they add more trains.
Taylor Swift is one of our biggest ones.
Concerts.
Concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been times where, she's actually very good at organizing her events and including that Metro stays longer for her fans to make it home safe. Which is very
That's good.
impressive. Very good. So they've come up here.
Everything I always hear about her, she was very proud.
Her employees, the people that work for her, with her, and her fans. So there's been times where this last concert, there we go. This last concert that she had, we know when these guys get off, there's obviously temptations. You saw how they're dressed, some people. So there's been times where we tell, younger girls, wait for us here, and we'll actually take them to their.
We prevent the field assaults.
Yeah.
We had a young girl here over the summer
Well, they from Ukraine.
from Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
18-year-old girl just traveled over just to make extra money, send it back home. She was working at one of the hotels here. She came off one night with a short skirt, gonna walk to her hostel, and we had one transient following her. And we saw that, and we told her, "You're not going anywhere. You're gonna come with us. We'll give you a ride." And she was gonna walk. We already knew the transient was gonna.
Oh, he was. While he's talking
he was
to
stalking
her,
her.
He was a
he's there
predator.
with his blanket and he's watching. And I said, I'm looking at him and he's
Yeah.
looking, and I'm like, we're taking her. Just tell her to wait. And we're like, hey, you need to get out. You already know you need to get off. He's like, I'm not doing anything. We're like, we know you're not, right?
And you're not
So
going to.
yeah, so
Yeah.
you need to leave. And so he lingered right there to see if she was gonna go or stay, because she kind of fought us on it. She's like, no, it's okay. My hostel's right here, just down the street. It's not even a block. And we're like, afterwards,
She
I'm like,
won't
you know
make
what?
it.
No. I'm like, I'm telling you, as another woman, you're not gonna walk by yourself. We'll walk with you, or we'll take you. And she's like, okay, I'm sorry. She's like, I'm tired. And I'm like, I get it, but it's better to, be safe than sorry. I'm like, and we know the kind of people that are around here. We know the kind of people that have been watching you since you got on the train, and that's the reason why we're telling you can't walk.
The
by
same
yourself.
thing with we get a lot of family out of state, out of
Families
tourists,
too,
from
yeah.
out of
They
country.
they're
They missed their last
oblivious.
train, and
Oh, yeah.
they insist on walking to the hotel a couple blocks away with little kids, and you see they're getting stalked already. We see it. They don't notice it, but we know the environment here, so we give them rights.
We'll request another unit,
Yeah.
because obviously we can only take a certain amount of people in our car. So we'll request another unit to come and help us, give them rides. So we've done that for a few people, just because it's like, obviously, we have families ourselves, and if we, for whatever reason, end up on this side of town or anywhere, it'd be nice to have somebody help us if we didn't know or weren't aware of the dangers, you know, for our own
Oh,
families.
and we also get a lot of the homeless people that we estimate about 96% of homeless people in Santa Monica are not from LA.
They're not.
And they're from around the nation, and we see them from Germany, from England,
Yeah.
from other countries. And a lot of those girls are coming here without any care in the world,
Mhm.
and they get here and they get assaulted. And that's tragic.
Yes.
You know, or they get, trafficked.
Traffic. And that's that's another thing. You know, that we told this young girl, we're like, you know, you don't know. You just try to be more alert, because she had actually fallen asleep on the train.
Oh yeah.
That's bad.
And when we saw her, we wanted to make sure first that it's like, okay, is she under the influence or is she just tired? So that's when he started talking to her a little bit more. And then we just came to the conclusion she was tired, because after, you know, the conversation, she was more like, okay, you know, fine. But yeah, there's a lot of times where, you know, or we'll walk down there, and if they're in any of these hotels, we'll watch them walk, or, you know, or we'll tell people. We also have these 2 little girls. Right now, this is the summertime, so we're gonna start getting a lot of
A
juniors.
lot of teenagers
A
come.
lot of teenagers that
for the
come,
pier.
the pier, and
Yeah.
then they think they don't know any better, so they think, oh, the train runs all day, all night, and you know they
Also,
come
they're
here.
stranded here.
Yeah.
Yes, so we had 2 little girls too that, you know, they were here. They went to the stairs. They got hungry. We have a lot of, you know, Jack in the Box. We have Wendy's right here down the street. So they thought, okay, before we go home, we're just gonna eat, order Uber there, and then go home. And, you know, I'm a mom, so I'm like, if that was my daughter, that was my kid, I'd be a little like, you know. And so I'm kind of have the itch. I'm like, hey, are you girls good? Yeah, we're good. We're just gonna be here. And then the train leaves, so now I'm like looking for them, and I see that they're walking, and I'm like, hey, let's just go. I'm like, we had it, because we usually have between 15 to 20 minutes between each train. So I'm like, let's just go. I'm like, let's go. Let's at least just, you know, roll alongside them and see where they go into. I'm like, and you know, we were walking. They're walking. We see them that they're going to the Wendy's, and sure enough, as soon as they get there, they start lingering around her. Maybe like two transients that had seen them, and we're like there, and then they look at us because we just kind of turned off our lights, and we go up to them and we're like, hey, are you girls okay? I'm like, what happened to your Uber? Because they said that we're gonna get an Uber. Oh, we got hungry, so we have the Uber coming here. She showed me the phone, and I'm like, okay, do me a favor. I'm like, just stay in the patio area. We're gonna be across the street. We're gonna be watching you guys until your Uber comes. And she's like, okay. So as soon as they saw them, they try to go in there, and then we'd like honk our horn, and we'd be like, nope, keep it walking. So once their Uber got there, they're like, thank you so much. They're like, you're welcome. But it's just things like that you know, we see at night, and you know, these
And where
kids.
it's experience. The other thing too is if they're not from a big city, if they're from New York, Chicago, somewhere like that, they know.
Oh yeah.
The spidey sense is already tuned.
Yeah, they're already
Yeah, but it's not if they're from a small town in Nebraska or Missouri or something.
Oh yeah, no,
Completely different.
completely different. You know.
And this area has become, unfortunately, because of the Expo line or E line, you know, we see the Target that's open a block from here.
Oh yeah.
I was telling my partner today, I went to Target to get some supplies while I'm working. So a phone charger, and everything is behind glass case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to
Oh
get
my
a
gosh.
Well, and that
That one's
particular
yeah.
that particular Target at the next corner has had 3 windows smashed and their doors in the last. So they had boards up on 3 windows. They've got new glass in there. Someone smashed one of the other windows yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's constant.
Yeah.
And Target and some of the other stores are the ones who didn't want police in, you know, wouldn't prosecute shoplifters because of George Floyd, and they're from Minneapolis. But they're finally starting to change. They're starting to realize that they I have to do something.
Even the Target on 16th and Wilshire has everything locked up.
Yeah,
now,
well,
they
I
didn't
mean,
used to, but now they do.
And that's one reason you're losing stores. Two of our stores in downtown, staff were afraid to come and go to work. They were afraid to go to the parking structures, and finally,
Yeah.
J. Crew and Madewell gave up because they couldn't retain people.
Yeah.
If there was so much danger lurking outside the store, or people coming in to shoplift, and the store staffs can't do anything with it.
Yeah, right now it's the same roadmap that's happening in San Francisco. It's happening here.
Yeah.
And San Francisco is a much larger city than Santa Monica, but Santa Monica looks like it's like
Well, that's what
exponentially
I'm
getting there
afraid of.
faster.
And we're
Yeah.
seeing that. We're seeing that. Look at Oakland.
Oh.
I mean,
Oakland
is
the
a
Wild Wild
nightmare
West
right
over
now.
there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a nightmare. So you
Yeah.
see that San Francisco downtown, which is now wiped out. It used to be the place to go to vacation. Market Street, walk around the cable
And this
cars.
is a big tourist area, especially in the summer. A lot of tourists coming in, they're not aware of all the issues going on.
No.
And that's when you see
Well,
it being assaulted.
And we're seeing it in our hotels, we're seeing it
Yeah.
in our stores, we're starting to see people check out early. We have people who they came here to get away from home. They came here because this is the playground, and they have movies, they have restaurants, the beach. They have all these great things here, and this is supposed to be their safe corridor to go downtown, to go to Universal Studios. We designed this so that you wouldn't need a car eventually in LA, but that means it has to be safe.
Yes.
Has to be safe because the word is out. When one of your county supervisors, Catherine Barger, says, "Hey, I wouldn't ride on the train." I was sitting next to her
Yeah.
in a SCAG meeting, and she said, "Phil, I won't go on the train." And she's one of the board of governors for Metro. I mean, that's harsh.
That is very hard.
But it's true. I mean, I wouldn't. I've told Fabian, he asked me earlier, "Do you take the train?" I said, "No," because Kathy would always want to use her iPad on the train or something.
Yeah.
And the
Can't
iPad will
take
be
your
gone.
phone, can't take your
Yeah.
iPad, take your
No,
earrings
if
off.
you're distracted, it's
They have a
And they
system. As
just
soon as the
try.
door opens, they see someone
they're
with a
waiting
phone,
for whoever's
iPad,
distracted.
you
Yeah.
grab it, run, and
And
door
run.
closes behind them,
Yeah.
and that's it. It's gone.
Yeah.
They're taking headphones, anything that's reachable
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not a matter of them switching to security. I know they're now going to remove you guys eventually, they say, and go back. They had their own security when they opened the trains.
They tried it twice.
Yeah.
MTD-PD and RTD-PD.
So, look, it needs to be enough. They can't skimp on having law enforcement out there because that's the only way people feel safe.
Yeah.
Bottom line, they need to know that someone's on the train or on the platform to stop
Yeah.
them.
And these platforms are so porous.
Well, people can just
They just go on. You go.
Yeah.
The ones they kick out here in the morning, they know. They just walk down to 17th Street, and they should walk right on. So,
And that's the thing that it's like, we're, like my sergeant said, we're short-staffed as it is, but we're trying to do the best we can to be on the trains, be more vigilant, be more, visibility is a high thing. We ride the trains at night. Obviously, they shut down, but when we work our day shift, we ride it up to Culver City and back. And people do feel safe. There is
Yeah,
a huge
absolutely.
difference
Much
in
safer.
Just your
even-
being there prevents things from happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we'll walk through every train. We'll stay on some of the platforms. We'll make it back. We'll do another train ride. So are we doing our part? Not because I'm a deputy, but we are. And we're trying to do as much as we can with the short staff that we have.
And that's the thing. We're doing that to some extent in Santa Monica. I need more police. I need saturation downtown. And in my neighborhoods, I need patrols. Because people need to feel, every once in a while they see a police car just cruising by, not on a call. And for a long time, our police cars were on calls constantly. When you're on that, you don't have time to look and see who's cruising an alley or who's looking to hop over someone's fence. And that's, to me, it's visibility. It absolutely is.
We're also bearing the brunt for much of the nation's homeless. They're all flocking to California.
Yeah.
And there's a reason behind it. You already mentioned it.
Sure.
As soon as Prop 47 went in, I mean, Portland is now dealing with
They're reversing.
They're backtracking from
And
basically
San
legalizing
Francisco is
drug
too.
use.
San Francisco Mayor Breed came out yesterday and said they're going to enforce the Supreme Court decision in their city. And they're going to offer you help. If you don't take help, they're going to give you a citation. If you don't show up, then they're going to start removing you and force you into jail, force you into something, into rehab. We have to.
That's the only way we can clean our
We
neighborhoods.
are overwhelmed.
But when he went to Washington, D.C. with Mayor Bass and 52 other mayors, a lot of the mayors in other parts of the country were just astounded at how many homeless we have in Santa Monica.
And
They
the
would go,
problems.
oh my God, we've got
What's the number?
58
Well, look at
homeless
here.
people in our
Here,
city.
I sit on National Public Safety Committee, State Public Safety Committee. I'm part of Mayor Bass's Homelessness Task Force. All these different things I'm doing to raise visibility and say we have problems, we need help. I was in Rancho Cordova, south of Sacramento. The sheriffs, Sacramento sheriffs run that city. And they gave a whole presentation on, they have about 85,000 residents, they have 52 homeless people, and they were like, my God, we have a crisis. And I'm looking at them, raised my hand and said, I have this great bus fleet.
We have 52
And I'm
come off the
happy.
trains at night.
I know we can get them refueled. We'll be glad to give you 500 or 600. I mean, that's the problem. The homelessness count shows about 772, 775. But the homeless count is completely bogus.
Yeah.
They didn't count anyone on our beach. They didn't go down to the beach.
What is your rough numbers right now? The last time you did a count of homeless in the city?
Our homeless count?
Yeah.
The county homeless count came back last week at about 775.
But that's on the
778.
coldest night of the
75,000
year.
or 7,500?
750.
It's on the
We're-
coldest
we're-
night of the
we're
year.
at-
and-
No way.
We are.
No way.
We're over 1,000
How do you
every
keep
night
them all
in Santa
together?
Monica. I guarantee if we walked over to Tonga Park right now, if we haven't cleared it, then we'll have 40 to 50 in there. And the problem is, as I found out, I went with our police one night around midnight, similar to this, and we went through and cleared the park, and we had 41 that night. And then I looked and said, wait, Sergeant, where are they going? And he said, the parking structures somewhere else. We're not really clearing.
And
just
most of them,
playing
they
lo-
knew, they
You're
knew
moving
them by
them from one
name.
Moving
place to
them,
another.
We're playing whack-a-mole.
Yeah, they knew
So
them by name.
our city manager and people in some ways have decided, okay, where is the least harm they can do? If they're in your alley, there's more chance they're going to do harm.
There's probably 100 in
Oh,
these
just
4
with the-
square blocks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
absolutely, absolutely.
Just this alley alone
Yeah,
is, we see them, they start here, they hang out here. Once they get tired, they disappear and it's into the alley.
Sure.
On
And
4th
they-
Street, it's
well,
packed.
and they try and find any places, if they can, that are on private property where someone hasn't posted a no trespassing. We have that just east of Reed Park and down the street. There's an alley south of the park, so we clear that park every night. And they go into the alleys and the vacated office buildings with back areas and hang there and cause problems in the neighborhoods. And it's not helping because they're climbing over people's fences and going into their apartment houses. They're trying to break in wherever they can. And that's a problem. So look at the solution has to be tougher laws. And even though in my city some will say, no, we don't want tougher laws. We want jails closed down. We want all that closed. But now I think they're starting to see the results of that. The pendulum swung after 2020.
Yeah.
It swung too far. You don't want to swing here, but you want to end up with it in the middle so that you're fair to people. But these people aren't fair to themselves. And I don't believe, I've said over and over again, It's not compassionate to leave people on the street to die. It's not compassionate to our business owners who have to deal with it. And it's not compassionate to residents who have to deal with it. We have to change that. And so everything I've been doing is to try and on national level, state level, to advocate. I think we've got some things, Mayor Bass and I and other mayors with the Homelessness Task Force, veterans, if they get their full benefit package, theoretically have too much income to qualify for housing. Well, that's ludicrous. They're veterans.
Exactly.
And so I think we've got something slipped into an appropriations bill right now that will come up, I think, in November, that will eliminate that loophole. Because we estimate on average night in Santa Monica we have between 94 and 110 veterans on our streets. Now, you and I know most of them are going to say we don't want housing. You know, otherwise they'd be at the VA trying to get help. But we have to give that option and have it be available without strings. And in Santa Monica, we're also pushing for higher limits on Section 8 because the rents are so high that Section 8 vouchers don't cover enough of the affordable units, so then they still can't get in a unit. So we've asked Congress to change that, and cities with high rents, so the Section 8 vouchers are higher. And like I said earlier, I've been asking for mental health on our streets. We got the LA County Department of Mental Health, DMH, that gave us a unit 3 years after we asked. There was supposed to be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, a mobile DMH unit. So we got it in February this year, and I was happy. And I was there at the opening, and the county supervisor and I were there, and we did the whole press thing. And then I realized they're 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. Homelessness is not banker's hours.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is when you need
yeah.
it. And they won't go out. We don't have enough staff. And now our police are saying, honestly, they're not even going to call them anymore because when they do come, first of all, they won't go out and patrol on their own, which is really
Your attention, please.
ridiculous.
Metro Rail service
Whereas
has
they
been
need to
further
be out
delayed.
on our streets just
Well,
driving around.
you know they try to create
Please
those
exit the
those
station.
task force
Train
through
service
LA
resumes
County
at
DMH
approximately
where they would
4 a.m.
respond to
For
mental health
further
calls.
assistance, please use
Yeah.
the passenger
Without
intercom.
us, they said
Oh,
absolutely
no, they won't
not.
do it without backup.
But that's what all the board of supervisors
But
wanted, and
that's-
everything like
yeah,
that.
but
They
they're-
wanted us out of the picture. But then the actual the
No, they
social
won't go
workers,
out by themselves.
they're no, I'm not
No.
going by myself.
Yeah, they get hurt. People saw them. There has to be a backup. And it's amazing when they don't understand that everyone wants to be safe, and with the mental health issues and the drug issues, people don't feel safe.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna get anyone on this one? A lot of
Oh yeah, same amount.
It's a hit or miss. Once it gets a little warmer, we get more people. Right now it's still a little fresh. It's the last one, or is there?
That's, I think it's the fifth one.
Yeah, we usually have 5.
I'll scan it. Just they come in. We'll be done. Sometimes we'll catch up. Yeah. Go. Thank you, Joel. We're done for the night. You guys gonna get off, all right? All right. Thank you.
There's a lot. People have left bags under the seats.
Hello. Hey, my man, you gotta get up, okay? In Santa Monica, the end of the line.
have Santa Monica for too. So I have airport and Santa Monica. But Santa Monica.
Paul, you alright? All right. There's a
Yes,
bench
but
we want
I'm
to catch
transferring
you.
here
Sit
to-
down and feel a little better. Okay?
I'm taking it.
We have one more after this.
We're supposed to be doing intake now 24 hours a day at Santa Shop, but I think Santa Monica police have to escort.
Remember to take the bus.
So
7:20 runs
what
off
we
the-
do is we direct them to the bus. They stay on the bus all night.
But
That's the quick fix.
there's a shelter right across that you guys can go to. Because obviously you guys will get in the morning. As soon as you get there is, first come, first served. I would recommend that once they open up in the morning, the first one's out there. Okay, they do get food out as well, so you guys can get something to eat. Okay? All right, no problem. Careful.
It may be open.
Is it open?
Got one more?
One more.
All right. Thanks.
So you also sign
Out of the box. They're trying to get a watch. Where's the collision? Okay. All right. You know, you can walk up. All right, thank you. All of our police are in the field right now. We have a major gas leak collision. So, walk up to that corner. Right. There is like a white tent, like a permanent tent. Ask them if they answer. They're supposed to be intaking people 24 hours a day. So I hope they will. Okay, if not, her advice was get on the bus.
Yeah, take the 7:20 and come first thing early in the morning. If they're not.
Okay.
Okay?
All
All right,
right, that's
if I spend my time here trying to get to know her, it's like, okay, but what resources do we have that are open, that will take them in, that does have that intake to take them in? So the only thing we can recommend is, tell them, hey, take the bus, come back early in the morning, because usually that's their intake times. Early in the morning so you can get a spot, and then they do their lunch, their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's the only thing we can really do to help them at these hours.
yeah, because I felt bad for both of them.
I did too, but there's only so much we can do at our reach at this hour. What is it exactly that you guys do? Oh, we try to get them into housing. I've yet to see one success story in the 3 weeks that they've been out here with us.
And at the time you're here, there's nothing open. Yeah.
And it's-
We voted and we authorized money to open the Samuel Shell overnight. So if police had someone on the streets, they could take them there and get them a bed right then. So they're actually reserving some of their beds for that. Now I'm kind of shocked that I just called dispatch and nobody knew.
I didn't know that.
I just asked for a watch commander. Watch commander, every policeman in Santa Monica is in the field right now. So there's nobody to ask. Well, no, it's just, you only have the graveyard shift is always small. But then if we have 2 emergencies going on right now in the city, that's pretty much takes care of everybody.
Right.
So,
How many do you have on early morning shift? How many police officers?
on the field right now, I'm not sure today, but in months past, it might be as few as 8 to 10 officers on the field. I was on last ride along I did We had 9 officers in the field. Beverly Hills had a crisis, asked us for mutual aid to cordon off an area, so we sent a couple of cars there. I was in a unit from 6:30 p.m. after roll call. I did roll call. After roll call was out till 4 a.m. And while I was out till 4 a.m., my officer had 26 calls. Between 6:30 and 4 a.m. And some of them were running on minor things like dogs barking. That was, by the time we got there, call was at 7 o'clock and we got there at 10:30 at night. We just kept rolling and rolling. And our officer didn't get dinner. He got protein bar, big quart of water, 5 minutes till 11 just before, the last market closed. And that was it. So he's not getting a break. He's not getting the things that he needs to do to sustain himself as well. And if they're on forced overtime, we get a lot of forced hires and overtime shifts, which you guys do too, but those things really wear on you.
Yeah,
I worry about the policeman who's on a forced hire. We had one policeman last year who had worked 13 straight days. And I'm concerned about that because my feeling is we're gonna end up with a policeman going home so tired that he crashes out on the freeway. And it's the same with fire. And that's why on fire you don't want those people going call to call all night long. They have to have that time to get rested.
Our partner last year, he had the same situation, working multiple overtime shifts, day after day.
There were
And he had a
3 16-hour shifts back
traffic
to back.
accident on the way home. Yeah.
See, those things are, and that's too much.
Right now we're working up to 120 hours of overtime a month.
That's crazy. I mean, it's good for your pocketbooks, but there's a trade-off. At least I look at the trade-off. You have a family. So when do you get to see your children? When do you get to see your husband? Well, and that becomes,
It becomes
a problem. Yeah, so I think if you do that too long, that strains a marriage. It strains everything, and it strains your ability to have quality time with your family.
Right.
And so whereas I know overtime can sometimes be beneficial to your pocketbooks, but at the same time, it can be detrimental to your heads, to your head, and that's a problem.
Our mental and physical state,
Yeah.
along with our home.
Yeah, I agree. That's, so we have to watch those things. We can't,
Here's a uniform.
Oh, police officer.
You don't have your flash though.
You got it.
I don't know how we had a 20-year-old girl and her sister. We got off the train and wanted help. If you go by there right now, I've been here with the sheriff's since 11:30.
See, the thing is that for us it's harder because this isn't our city. So we just deal with anything that's train related, right, or metro related. So it's just not very
Where's your family support? Where do the original have?
She's just a great house away. If you have nothing here, it's something there, which you take you guys in. You guys So you can go to the gazebo at 11:30 on Tuesdays here. Let's say that you need to get a bus ride to be reunited with family support, and then our what's
West Coast Care will-
West Coast Care will give you a bus
Reverend
ticket.
Ron will give you a voucher, or the Salvation Army can too.
It's at the pier. It's a gazebo on the side. So if you take this to family support. Yeah, Tuesday. I don't have any blue cards with me this spot. But Tuesday at 11:30. He's usually there for an hour or two.
And actually, if you decide you want to, go to the Salvation Army, which is on 4th, right up the block tomorrow morning, and ask for James. He might open up the station.
Yeah, but you cannot survive in this economy without some type of support. I mean, I make good money. It is like my bills and things are higher, so I can't even imagine what it is to not have support. This place is it's unbearable. The amount of money it costs to live here, opposed to Texas or Nebraska or something else.
They want people.
Here comes the last one.
Nice lady,
Yeah.
This will be the last train. Rare train, but we'll take it. We average on an average night, but like when it rains or it's cold weather, oh, these trains are packed. Yeah.
It's just the way to get people out of the element.
Yeah. These trains are used as homeless shelters. As soon as they start up at 4 in the morning till they close, they're just sleeping in there all day. Yeah.
And the other stuff.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It's illuminating.
Well, thanks for coming down.
Well, thank you. I mean, like I said, once it gets a little bit warmer, you see a lot more people in the summertime. Still a little cold, but usually, like in the summertime, it's because it's air conditioned,
Sure.
so it's more comfortable than being out here, I would say. But it's nice to. I was telling Fabian, it's nice to have you guys come out here, especially at these hours of the night, because during the day, they sleep during the day. Majority of them do, and it's at night when it's like, you see a little bit more activity on their end, but it's good for you guys to have an idea of, what we see, what we do, and maybe, have ideas, together to see how we can change it, how we or make things slightly better, for the community.
That's the object.
Yeah.
Is to try and make my community safer. And I say this all the time in the city as well. That my prime job of every city council person, every city in the world, every mayor, is to make their cities as safe as possible. We don't see that all the time, but that's my belief. That's our job. So it was interesting. Officer Hollowell was my favorite police officer. But he said, Sam Michelle is right now. This closed for the morning. There's a lot of people outside.
Is there other shelters?
We had 12 units tonight because we held some open.
Oh wow.
So we held some people.
We know what those drafts are like.
So that's part of what I was asking about that. Talk to the two girls. We're trying to replace that tomorrow. Next day we can get housing and temporary shelter.
Just because obviously, we just take care of anything Metro related, but it would be good to know what resources are here that we could offer on our end, just so that these guys, or like the young girls like that, they don't go into an alley or something and something worse might happen to them. I'm pretty sure they've had a rough life as it is.
Yeah.
But
They
to
said
offer them that little glimpse of help.
No help, no support, at all. That's what we see a lot.
Yeah.
And you see that especially with foster kids.
Mm-hmm.
The minute, especially foster girls, they turn 18, their foster home cuts them loose because there's no more money.
Yeah. No, we've had
They didn't
them
really
here.
care about a real connection. It was about the dollars, not about the people.
Or the foster moms or foster parents that have maybe like 5 foster kids. We've had that. We've had all of that in these trains. We've had those conversations with a lot of,
Well,
foster kids.
that's one of the things that we need more of too. Kids age out of the foster system. How do you get them a place they can get into a junior college? How do you get them a safe place to be? We used to have a place in Santa Monica through the YWCA that held 12 formerly foster kids, gave them a full ride to Santa Monica College, free room and board.
Oh
For
wow.
full 2 years, and it was in this historic house, and I interviewed someone for a video show I was doing, and it was one girl was so proud she had a high school diploma, Nova High School.
Oh, okay.
And this was the year and a half she'd been there. So far, it was the longest she'd been staying in her life.
Oh wow.
And we closed it. We need places like that.
We need places like that. We definitely do.
Absolutely.
Because that's where it starts, it starts with the youth. It starts with making sure that they don't fall into these habits. And if, they're coming from a household like that, to not continue that path and to show them the reform and, that there is opportunity out there. There are resources. It's just guiding them to the right resources, to the right places.
Giving them support. Look at, you see so many people on our streets because somewhere in their childhood, somewhere in their early teen years, society failed. Either parents failed, something failed. They had no parents at home, all those things. But some of those kids can still succeed.
Yeah.
They have to be strong enough internally, and I don't know if you can't legislate it, you can't force it, but some kids have it. We had a kid at Saddle High who I gave a scholarship to 2 years ago, who was working after school, to the end of the night every night at Cold, the ice cream shop. Cold Stone, thank you. And her dad turned into a drug addict. Dad was out of the house. Mom discovered sex with other guys. So she was taking care of her sister and no parents at home. And she still got grades. She had saved up enough money. She was paying for her younger sister's support. Paying for everything. You see some of those people who are so resilient.
Yeah.
And that's what gives us hope.
Yes.
That not everyone's going to fail.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mayor.
I
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
I should take a picture of you.
Thank you very
Oh,
much.
sure.
Let me take a picture.
We just had so we had the gas leak, we had an accident, we had 2 big fights earlier as well.
Yeah, you guys are busy for sure.
Thank you.
The lighting isn't the best, but I did
You
what I
guys
could.
be safe the rest of the night.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. David, you're walking me back.
Yes, I
Sorry,
am.
you're
Yes.
my-
No, no, I'll walk you.
my
Oh,
bodyguard.
I'm your bodyguard.
No.
It's not for you to want to sell. Right.
Right now you're done. Yes, just going inside. Once they figure out what they got, yeah, right. Right now I'm not doing the investigation.